For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the money. Pauly Howard, Mike Palm. Palm Readers Unite. In from Mitch Moss. Back tomorrow. In Play Baseball. We'll give you a play right off the bat. Huge show coming up downtown. CircleLasVegas.com and Sirius XM Channel 158. Big program coming up. First time ever. The Sharp Plays has agreed to come on the program, and he's giving out a free subscription. We'll talk about Mr. Poison, Duffel Bag Boy. He'll give out a free play and a free subscription. It'll be great to catch up with Sharp Plays finally. The Meat Man, Steve Wiss. Playoffs in the lower leagues, Premier League plays. Talk soccer with him. Lou Finicaro, UFC card Saturday, UFC 315, Stanley Cup playoffs as well, and Circa's own JYD, Junkyard Dog, Jeff Davis, who no one loves Carolina more than this guy. We'll talk NHL playoffs, pivotal game 2 tonight out here with Vegas and Edmonton. And you cannot be serious, in pocket, player props to get to as well. How you doing, Maestro? Good to see you.
A lot going on today, Paul.
Absolutely.
A lot going on today.
All right, let's give it to him right off the bat, right?
How about this situation in Colorado?
Yeah, it's a good situation.
It's a good situation, a doubleheader today. The Tigers are up 9-0, bottom of the third. The big situation is the Rockies bullpen. They had 5 guys that threw 20 more pitches last night. What are they going to use here in the first game? Freeland, 65 pitches through 3. I think he's got another 50 in him. They're going to hang him out here to dry. Just keep betting Detroit on the run line here in this game, because you're going to get at least 2 more innings out of Freeland, and he hasn't been able to put a 0 up on the board yet.
Detroit's going to improve to 6-1 when Mize is on the mound. They were just 9.5 in play, but now we go to the top of the fourth. You got to lay 10.5 runs, and 15.5 is the total. So you're right. He's out there taking one for the team here, as they will be, I believe, the third team in the modern era to start 6-30. And they're throwing Gordon in the second game, and Detroit's only $1.85. I believe that's going to be Montero, what they're going to decide to do. So I have the number 1 bullpen now in baseball in light of what's going on in New York with San Diego and the horrible inning that they had. So Maestro says lay the 10.5 with Detroit up 9-0 coming to bat in the top of the fourth.
You got a situation here with, you might see some position players at the end of this game.
That's in
right?
play, sure.
I mean, that's in play too when you're thinking about 10.5.
Yep. Kansas City up 6-0 now in the 6th against the White Sox. In play total now 8.5, and the Royals are minus 6.5. They're going to be 17-1 last 18 against the White Sox, and they will be now 15-2 last 17 overall. The pitching has been unbelievable. Last 16, starters have a 2.22 ERA, and the pen's been great. Witt got it done again. Our guy Ozzie, TMI Ozzie, Ozzie in Dallas had Witt have a couple stolen bags as well. So, again, they've owned them. It's 6-0, still batting in the 6th.
You know that through 37 games, the Royals starters have pitched 46 more innings than the Dodgers starters. Think about that. They're going more than an inning a game, almost an inning and a third a game. The Dodgers are on a pace, Paul, to be bottom 5 all-time in number of outs recorded by starters on average, and yet they still have the best record in baseball. 13 pitchers on the disabled injured list right now.
That's right. Not bad. Yep. So if you don't think the White Sox are going to do anything against Kansas City, how strong their pen's been, lay 6.5 with the Royals. Twins beat Baltimore about 10 minutes ago. The Orioles are in last place, 13-23. And also Shelton was fired today, too, from Pittsburgh. They've had enough. So, again, the misery continues for Baltimore as the Twins take them out. And
What'd they do to help Shelton, though? What'd they do? Did they build around Skeens? I don't think they did much in the offseason either. I never thought he was much of a manager. But you can't put all this on his doorstep. Right. I don't think Hines much of a manager in Baltimore. But, I mean, the front office they went out and got no pitching. What pitching they did is disastrous.
Absolutely.
And Gibson.
Yep.
I mean, those were the saviors. Awful. And the hitting's regressed as well.
Yeah, this is embarrassing to be in last place. Absolutely. And Devers just went deep. 5-0 Red Sox in the top of the 8th against Texas. In play total 5.5. I think it's the bottom of the 8th now. 5.5 under minus 270. Unprecedented what we've watched in the NBA playoffs in the second round. If you take out the Toronto Maple Leafs, if you can believe it, if you take out the Toronto Maple Leafs, road teams, NBA, NHL playoffs are now 9-1 straight up. So the Celtics blow it again. And as Brian Windhorst said on ESPN, the big problem, other than they can't make a three-pointer, is they don't understand why they're losing and are stubborn and refuse to acknowledge maybe we just dial it back from 3 and attack the basket. 84-68 Boston with 8 minutes left. All that talent, the defending champs, great offense. They go 8 minutes without a bucket. Game 1, 72-52. With 6:19 left, they lose. Game 2, 73-53. With 2:18 left in the third quarter, a 34-11 run by New York. 25-30-1 in play. The Celtics have held New York to 191 points in regulation, and they are down 0-2. And I cannot believe at DraftKings and William Hill, the Celtics are still favored to win the series. They're down 0-2, and we're going back to the Garden where the get-in price is $600.
So at Circa, we reopened it pick'em, minus 10 both ways, and it hasn't moved. So it's still a pick here. But you're going to hear all the arguments that this is the time to buy low on the Celtics. But not so fast, Paul. Could this all be explained by our new pope from the south side of Chicago who got his degree in mathematics from Villanova? You think there's some Knicks influence there? Who knows? I can't believe with all the scoring options that they have, that they go these fourth quarters and score 10 points in the last 6 minutes, 8 points in the last 7 minutes.
It's nothing new, though. I mean, this is to struggle in the last 5 minutes. And the issues at home are well documented. I can say it because I can't prove it. I don't believe this ever would have happened under Udoka. And I think Joe Maz is getting exposed here as well. You know, if we back up to what happened last year, first round they played Miami, Butler didn't play. Second round they played Cleveland, Mitchell didn't play. Conference finals, Halliburton got hurt. They didn't see Minnesota. They didn't see Denver. They got Dallas in the finals, which is a tough matchup for Dallas. So here again, it reminds people also of what happened a couple years ago. Now, remember, 6 of the last 8 years they made the conference finals. They have 1 ring. 1. So then they're in the conference finals as a huge favorite against the 8 seed Miami, and they lose game 1 at home. They lose game 2 at home. They lost game 3. And then they rallied to force a game 7 where, again, they lost at home and Tatum got hurt. But just to see how they just are so stubborn and they think they're doing the right thing where, okay, math, numbers, like you said, this is how we play, wide open looks. The Knicks are more than happy to say, be my guest, go ahead. And now how it's shaken up the futures market as well, what the series price is with OKC's big win. Boston as high as plus 410 to win the title. OKC plus 120 at some spots. And still, Boston favored to win the Eastern Conference, but they're down 0-2. They won 61 games. The Cavs won 64 games. They're a combined 0-4 straight up at home, and they were laying big numbers.
Well, part of that still being favored to win the East has to be the fact that the Cavs are injured and down 0-2. And the presumption now, the Pacers favored in that series is that's who you're going to meet in an Eastern Conference. So essentially, the price can't be much worse than what it is on the Knicks series. Right? Because you figure there will be a huge favorite against Indiana if that comes to be.
Which I think would be a mistake, though.
Yeah.
Indiana's good. Now, Boston gets the home court, but then again, they've shown they're better off in these big games on the road. So it's hysterical to see Boston down 0-2 and minus 120 to win the series and a 5-point favorite in the Garden. 12 straight series, they've won at least one game on the road. So you figure they can go back home down 3-1. And then if they could come back somehow and win this series. But
will it still be a pick'em at 3-1?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Absolutely. So much like the Cavs, who shot 24% from 3 in game 1 and 28% from 3 in game 2, Boston continues to fail and blow big leads. And even as poorly as they played, they've led by 20 in the third quarter. In both of them, Tatum, 23 points in the last 7 quarters. And a illness with Porzingis doesn't help out either. How many books do this? ESPN Bet does it. I don't know if MGM does it, but Bet 365 does it as well. If a team goes up 20 points, they pay out if you bet the money line.
Really?
So you're paying out both sides here. remember DraftKings had those issues. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Where if a team went up 14 in the NFL, they paid out.
Yes.
If you had the money line. And there was some rough Sundays for DraftKings doing that.
Yeah, I think they're underestimating in the NBA, though. I mean, a 20-point lead is like about an 8-point lead in college basketball. I mean, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that much because of the frequency of the possessions and the variance. So it's certainly something we don't do, Paul.
Yeah. That a lot of people pointed that out last night. What happened? As again, we've seen so many blown leads in what's transpired in the second round. How about the Leafs? So the Knicks haven't made the conference final since 2000, and the Leafs haven't made it since 2002. I thought Wool did a pretty good job, but if they're going to play like that offensively, and Nylander with the baby power gets the goal as well.
Let's be honest here. Goalie Bob hasn't been terrific in these 2 games.
Good point.
All right,
Bob.
Let's be honest. But I think this is an overreaction to go from plus 150 to minus 250 in the series now. I thought the series doesn't start till the road team wins a game. Well, I mean, Florida lost 2 games on the road. I think that's way too big of a shift in the price here, and I'd hold judgment on this series. I did like the fact that the Leafs didn't celebrate too much after beating Ottawa.
Okay.
They knew that the next round was where they're going to have to make their bones.
Let me throw this at you. Is Florida tired? Back-to-back trips to the final. Now you're in the second round, even though you took out Tampa.
Let's not forget they all had to play a lot of people played in this 4 nations too.
Okay,
were more games this year as well. I don't know if they're tired. I thought last night could have went either way.
Yeah, they led 1-0. They led 2-1. I give Toronto credit, but
I could have went either way. Game 1 I give to Toronto, but I think the series is far from over here. I think Game 3 is very big. I think Toronto has a shot to step on their neck, so to say, in a Game 3 situation. You let this champion get some momentum.
Mm-hmm.
This team is big. They forecheck well, and they're still fast. But Bobrovsky must play better.
Absolutely.
He got outplayed by Joseph Woll last night.
Absolutely. And weak on the 5-hole as well. If Stolarz comes to you and to Berube and says, I'm good, would you play him in Game 3?
I would, absolutely. This is his team.
All right.
Let's not forget that Stolarz was Bob's backup last year
Good
with
point.
Florida. He's
right.
got a lot of motivation here, Paul.
Plenty of props coming up next. And you won't believe the move in the market for Conn Smythe. Up next, Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Red Sox finish it off. They win 5-0. Twins beat the Orioles 5-2 earlier today, and we go to the top of the sixth, or top of the fifth. 9-0. Detroit. Palm recommends lay it with Detroit in play, as Mize has been great, and that's game 1 of a doubleheader. Oh, boy. Colorado on pace for 135 losses. This is staggering. Isn't this something after what we watched with the White Sox last year?
What about the prop before the year started? Who would have more wins, Dodgers or White Sox and Colorado combined? You'd have to take $3 to take White Sox and Colorado combined right now.
Yes.
Impossible.
Absolutely. As Kansas City's all over Chicago as well. 6-0. Okay, let's start with the game out here tonight. Huge. Vegas tries to even up the score in the series against Edmonton. The Jonathan Davis numbers. You bet the team to score first off a loss, 26-14. You bet the team that lost the previous game to score in the first period. That's 28-12. And certainly this team is all about first period goals. All 7 playoff games with Vegas, the first period has gone over. Back on it again tonight. But, you saw it. After the first 10 minutes, it was total domination. And what Edmonton did in the second period against Vegas as well. And if they're going to play that kind of defense and they're only going to give up 2 goals, and certainly they're so balanced, as I'll talk about in a second. I know you probably can bet Edmonton in play if it's 1-0 Vegas, but you set history. You've won 5 in a row. You come from behind in all 5. And now if they win tonight, it's probably going to be it for Vegas. So season on the line here, Vegas $1.35.
1 shot on goal in the second period by the Knights on Tuesday. Paul, think about this. For the last 52 minutes, they were shut out by Colin Pickard and that Edmonton defense. Okay? They're so busy trying to defend against this top line that they're not generating any chances, Paul. They're in big trouble here.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a Wild. The 2 goals early didn't mean they were going to win the game. This is a different animal here. And I keep going back in my own mind to Hiller calling that ridiculous challenge when they had this team dead and buried.
Right.
And now this team, I think, has a pretty incredible path to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals, the Oilers. I think they got a big chance.
13 different players have scored. 18 different players have points, what they're doing. So it's more to it than just the big two and what they've done. And Perry had the goal in the last game, and Kane's given him a shot in the arm as well. So and if they, as I said many times, if they stay out of the box because they were so bad on the penalty kill against L.A. in that series, and Vegas has a number 2 power play, they're going to be fine. And out of the 2 goals they allowed, one of them was early on the power play. Vegas is going to come out strong, try to jump on them. I don't mind goal in the first 10, certainly goal in the first 5 for a juicier price. But you're right about what Hiller said. They look so bad in the first 2 games. And the sloppy turnovers and handing them goals. The goalie change has been huge. Great job by Knobloch. And I didn't know Gulletson was an assistant on that team.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
He had spent some time out here. Yep. So good staff, good coaching by Edmonton, and certainly with all the talent they have. First period over. Stone, shots on goal over. And Vegas season on the line. We'll see if what they should. And I totally agree with you. I was not impressed, and they were fortunate to get by Minnesota.
The NHL playoffs, Paul, up to this point, average per game is the highest scoring Stanley Cup playoffs since the 92-93 season.
Really?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Highest scoring since 92-93.
Any props? Goal props? Shots on goal? I mean, the big name. It also comes down to how much juice do you want to lay here with the big guns. But Stone minus 180 with the juice, and McDavid 2.5 minus 160. Eichel same, and Draisaitl in that same range as well. If you want to play any of that. No?
No. You know what I like playing, and I'm not saying specifically for this game, though, is goalie saves. I think that's
call,
interesting.
Good call. I'm doing it in the next game. Okay. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad angle as well. And I know Jonathan Davis likes an empty net goal tonight. Edmonton, I think, is plus 380, and Vegas is plus 275 in that range. Yeah. Edmonton plus 380, Vegas plus 275 for an empty net goal tonight. I think this is men against boys. Carolina out-hit Washington 44-31. Washington only had 14 shots on goal. Shot attempts 94-34. Carolina.
Aren't these 2 teams in the same division? It's hard to say Washington isn't ready for what Carolina brings to a game. But didn't they look very slow in this first game? This looked like Carolina was better. And Carolina's not a great road team, Paul.
Right.
They're a great home team. Very average to mediocre on the road. And they totally dominated that game. I thought the final should have been more like 5-1. I think this is a short series, Paul. I think this is over in 5, I would say.
I agree with you. And you're seeing as high as $4 here at Circa on the adjusted series price. Carolina, right there with Dallas, the short shot. You can find the exacta. If you guys want to take advantage, can I do better than 11-1 on the exacta for everyone in the audience? You can tweet at us or email. The best I found is Carolina over Dallas 11-1 for the exacta. And we know Jeff Davis loves Carolina. He's got them low here, $9. That's 9-1, excuse me. And then he's got Carolina so high. But he always has had the highest series price, the best, lowest future odds. And he was 60 cents higher on Carolina in that first round against New Jersey than everyone else as well. So I'm with you. Could be a sweep, could be a win in 5. We'll see what Washington brings. It was men against boys, and to what you just said, I like Anderson under 22.5 saves, as Washington couldn't muster any offense in the first one.
Would you play the reverse exacta? Dallas over Carolina? I just think that's an incredible storyline. Rantanen gets revenge on the team that traded him after 10 years, and then the team that traded him right before the end of the season because he told him, I'm not re-signing here. Mm-hmm. By the way, in all those player polls, I don't know how much you follow them. The NBA one came out. That is the organization people least want to play for. They don't like the facilities. I don't like Carolina. It's very interesting. And he was very open with them. He said, I'm not resigning here. So they dealt him to Dallas, and he signed a contract that is less than what the Colorado thought they were going to have to pay him to keep him. So they totally misjudged the situation, Colorado, and it came back to bite him. He has a hat trick in Game 7 in the third period alone and knocks him out.
Yep. How about this story? And that's the big move I mentioned on the Conn Smythe. He is now the favorite, not McDavid. Rantanen's now the favorite to win the Conn Smythe. He's plus 550 and back-to-back hat tricks. He had a natural hat trick last night. A hat trick was 80-1. 2 goals was 14-1. And first player with 2 natural hat tricks back-to-back. I mean, I can't wait for his props tomorrow, too, as he's had, 4, and 3 points in the last 3 games, and Dallas finally wins at Game 1.
Well, you know what's interesting about this Conn Smythe market is we're just really into the first few games of round 2, and you can almost eliminate all the goalies, right? I mean, if there was going to be a goalie story,
why not Anderson?
Huh?
Anderson could get it. They could win some low-scoring games. Okay, go ahead. Continue. Finish your thought.
Maybe, but like Vasilevsky would have been. Hellebuck's out. Yeah. I mean, even if they win it, Hellebuck's out. Bob's out. I mean, it's really opened up to the scorers now. It's very interesting. And it goes back to the point, the highest scoring in 33 years, Stanley Cup playoffs. I think it's very interesting because usually you have to focus on the goalies.
Yeah, not bad. Do you think it's Edmonton against Dallas then?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I don't count the Knights out. The Knights are a very solid team. They don't make mistakes, but boy, they have to start generating offense. They're spending all their energy defending that top line. 1 shot in the second period. Paul, at home.
Yep. That was bad.
At home.
Yep. It was bad. And I don't really trust Hill as well. And I think the school's out, jury's out, and also school's out that you can beat him high glove side as they put 2 past him as well. And we talked about Bob's issues with the 5-hole. And this is the lowest price I've seen all year, too. The prop you guys have here, USA against Canada, USA down to minus 190 with what happened with Toronto getting it done as well. So I'm rooting for Toronto, too.
That's 340 to 420 all year, Paul.
That's right. That's a great market, and I'm glad you put that up. And now down to minus 190 on USA. Smarter bets start here and last all year long with VSiN Pro for unlimited time. We're slashing the price of our annual subscription, normally $240, now just $199. When you sign up today, we'll throw in 2 extra months for free. 14 months of VSiN Pro access, less than 50 cents a day when you use promo code PRO. 14 months of access, every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, DraftKings and Circa. 24/7 live video, full show replays as well, all the dog videos and the special betting guides. VSiN.com/subscribe, promo code PRO, 14 months, just $199. VSiN.com/subscribe. Every game but one, the opponent has gone over their team total against Hellebuck, and a bad beat if you head over. 3-2, end of 2, in the game, a scoreless third period, and Dallas wins on the road. Winnipeg up against it. That was bizarre, but I was hoping the Jets could get it done, but it doesn't look good here.
Oh, they lose a home game. That's very bad because he can't even stay. He gets pulled in every road game.
Yeah, good call. You can't wait for the team totals when we go to Dallas. But this is what, I mean, imagine what the market was, what the odds were on Indiana and the Knicks a couple months ago to win the title. And imagine the odds on Dallas after they lost Game 1 at home 6-1. And now they're short shot.
And by the way, that was their 8th straight loss at that point.
That's a good point because they had the debacle. What was the Vancouver game? 5-2 with a minute left.
1 minute to go.
Yeah. That's another good. They'd lost 8 in a row, and they lost at home 6-1. And there was a 60-cent move in the series price on Colorado, and everyone thought it was over. And now they're 3 wins away from going to the conference finals.
It's incredible. You're a dog in all 7 games of the first round. Now Stanley Cup.
Yep. Sharp Plays makes his Follow the Money debut. He'll give out a free play and a free subscription as well. He'll tell us a little bit how he got in the racket. That's coming up next. Sirius XM Channel 158 live from Circa. Follow the Money Visa.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Back at it, Pauly Howard, Mike Palm, Mitch Moss out. Back tomorrow, 6-0 Royals, bottom of the 8th. And Boston beat Texas 5-0. Twins beat the Orioles 5-2. Pleasure to be joined now by Jeff from the Sharp Plays. He's been with Follow the Money since day one. Well, if you're new to the show, we'll tell you about Mr. Poison. But he was on Mr. Poison. We had the T-shirts, and he's been all over social media for the last 7 years. And go up to the Sharp Plays and follow him on X as well. He joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Thanks for coming on. We give out a free subscription, by the way, coming up in 10 minutes. How did you get into this business, sir?
No, it's a long story. I could probably go on for an hour, but we don't have that kind of time. So I was fascinated by gambling as a kid. My dad used to bring home those parlay cards, And the idea of betting money to win money just caught me at an early age. I went to OTB when I was in high school, after school. It just was in my blood. It was a passion that I had, and I wanted to crack the code. I knew guys were making money betting horses, betting sports. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting to me that you could possibly do that and make a living at it. And, of course, I was bad at that time. I wasn't really picking or winning or anything. And then online gambling started to come in at the same time, where you had these casinos you could go to online. And I wanted to be involved. So I reached out to a bunch of different companies, sent, I would say, dozens and dozens of emails. And finally, one reached back out to me, World Sports Exchange, and they said, hey, you can do some email marketing. All right, I'll give it a shot. Did some email marketing. They liked what I did. And next thing you know, on a whim, stroke of luck, I was managing the Sunday night baseball markets. And they had an exchange style format, and I became a market maker on the exchange. And it was awesome. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of mistakes that I was making as a gambler. And really, you could see the human dynamic of how people press and chase and how you can take advantage of that as a bookmaker. And if you're smart enough, how you can play into the pricing that you put out on the teams when they get up 1 or 2. And it basically gave me a mathematical foundation for professional wagering. When is something overvalued? When is it undervalued? And from there, I then began to develop these algorithms, which I was always messing around with, but, never really had the right tools. And that Sunday night baseball market management, it gave me the ability to put together the algorithms to find value. And I then went out on my own, and for 10 years, was doing consulting for different sports books. This was the Wild West back then, when everybody with money and interest in gambling was opening their own offshore sports book or casino and needed help. So it was nice to be a service that could come in, provide them some software, provide them risk management help. And it flourished very well for 10 years. But like anything in this business, I'm sure as Mike knows, as you know, you get gassed by it. It's a 24/7, 365. There's sports going on all the time. And I was someone didn't take a vacation, couldn't take a day off because I was going to miss something. It's that old fear of missing out. When did you go ahead.
So when this is how you also became very popular and a following. How many Mr. Poisons are out there? And then how did you go about finding this guy who was betting big money and then in March Madness went 4-28 ATS?
So it's nuts. People don't realize what is out there in the gambling world. I would have guys, when I start talking about Mr. Poison and saying what he was betting, 25,000 on a first period total, they go, well, that's impossible because I can only bet, 500 as my limits. But people don't realize that when you're loaded and you want to get action down, you reach out to a book and they give you excellent limits. They give you whatever you want, basically, especially if you're a loser. And there are so many guys that just like the action of gambling. And I wonder if they don't mind losing, because they would drop $2, $3, $4, $5 million in a weekend betting sports. Well, some of them would bet sports would win a little bit, and then they'd blow it in online blackjack. Oh. And there are dozens, I would say thousands of players like that throughout the world that are betting online every single day at limits and rates you can't even imagine. There were guys betting on the World Cup $3-5 million a match.
Unbelievable. Oh my God. So you also, and I like how you did this. You do this as well. And I know our old friend of ours who passed away, Dave Koken, used to do this. You accumulate and you have all these contacts and relationships with people who run these various books. So then you would ask them, reach out every single day, and they all would come back. You won't believe it. The public's all on the same team, and how that would usually work and how that would go. So how long did it take to develop those contacts? And also how good has that been where you just fade the number one play by the public?
So it was being involved in the industry back in the early days was quite helpful because everyone was friendly, working together. Companies actually would work together and trade information. So you would build a network of contacts. And there was a lot of horse trading that would go on. So like a book would find out that a group was going to be moving on, and I'll just say the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they would tell you that, and in exchange, you would provide them information. So there was so much information going back and forth behind the scenes. And as a trader or someone like myself in risk management, you would build up a Rolodex, for those who remember what one of those were, of all these different contacts that would trade information with you. You'd get something and you'd call up, Johnny from another book and say, hey, we got some information on the Lakers game. You got anything going on out there? And they go, I don't have anything on the Lakers game. What do you have? But I have this on the Red Sox game. And so slowly you're just building this information network of people on the inside of, groups that are betting, sharps that are getting action down. And you would also exchange information because there was nothing like what you guys have today where it's the DraftKings or the Circa tickets and money percentages, anything like that. It was all calling back and forth and trading information. And you would find, you'd hear this book is getting hammered by public money on Golden State tonight, and you'd hear this other one's getting hammered on Golden State, and you'd put it together that obviously the public is all over Golden State. Back in those days, the public fade was phenomenal. It was hitting around 53, 54% in the late 90s, early 2000s. Then everybody sort of caught on, and I would say now, today, it's probably around 50 to 51% at best. From recent statistical analysis that I've done on it, it's definitely changed, but it's still something that if the public is heavy on a game, at a minimum, you don't want to be on it. Even if you're not fading it, it's a stay away.
Do you like anything today? How about a pick?
Tonight, the AI that we use, the top play right now is the Carolina Hurricanes, and I'm looking at them on the puck line versus the money line because I think the value on the puck line is a little bit better than the money line. Money line got up a little bit. It got pushed because a couple groups went down on Carolina, pushed the line up. So at this point, the puck line at plus 160, Carolina Hurricanes minus the 1.5 plus 160 is what I would consider the top value today. It's one of those situations, though, where bettors, if they're not, comfortable with losing some tickets here and there, they may want to look to the money line. Money line in these kind of situations will provide you a higher win rate, but the problem is your ROI is going to be lower. So you're going to cash more tickets, but you're going to make less money. So to me, it's important to obviously make more money. You'll get a higher ROI with the puck line. Hopefully, if they, if it goes to overtime, you won't be disappointed that you didn't go money line, but long term, that's the way to go.
Great to talk to you, Jeff. I'm glad you were able to come on, and thanks for being a sponsor, and thanks for giving out the free subscription as well. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it. Stay in touch.
Absolutely a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Jeff from the Sharp Place on the Progressive Guest Line, founder of the Sharp Plays as well. For a free subscription, tweet at VSiN Live. Mike's dad, Ronnie Palm, may he rest in peace. His favorite team in baseball suffered a horrific beat in a series in the mid-'80s. He took it so hard, he had to take some time to himself. How long was it?
3 days.
3 days after this team blew a 2-0 series lead. And he took it hard. I don't blame him. What was that team that Ronnie Palm loved? Mid-'80s, up 2-0, took 3 days to himself to gather his thoughts after this team blew it. At VSiN Live, with the correct answer, you get a free subscription to Sharp Plays at VSiN Live, Ronnie Palm's favorite team that blew the 0-2 lead in the mid-'80s. There you go. So plus 150, plus 160 with his play on Carolina as well on the puck line, and then you have in regulation. But I can't get past the shot attempts, 94-34 in game one. Not a good road team, as you pointed out.
Not a good road team.
And you would think that Washington, while they hung in there and they lost 2-1, they just couldn't generate any offense in that game.
None 5-on-5.
Yeah,
their only chances were on the power play, Paul.
Yeah, out-hit in that game, too.
By the European-laden Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes, right. Oh, man. That was. We'll see what they have tonight with the season on the line, but got to respect Carolina tonight as well. And your thoughts too about Dallas to lose 6-1 in game one, and then remember game 2 and game 3 they were down with less than 10 minutes left and won those games.
They were up 2-1 and they had led a total of 1 minute and 40 seconds in the series.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I know you're salivating going back to Dallas to go against Hellebuck as well.
Oh,
and
yes.
The team totals.
They're set up very well right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They're set up.
I'd like to see a properly get pulled again. You got to put that up.
How many complete games will Hellebuck have on the road in this year?
Oh, God. Oh, the poor guy. He comes, hopefully he can bounce back in game 2, but the comment about the pressure's off and weight of the shoulders.
He's a finalist for MVP, Paul.
Vezina, I know.
He's winning the Vezina. He's a finalist for the MVP.
Win-lose coming up next. 100-1 shot. Cashed again, and a viewer had it. Plus some horrible beats coming up. VSiN Follow the Money live from Circa, downtown Las Vegas, Sirius XM, Channel 158.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
March Madness has come to the NBA playoffs. 84-68 Boston, 8 minutes left. They blow it again and went 8 minutes without a basket. Knicks money line 4-1. God knows if you grabbed in play. They were 25-1 in play, down 20 in game one. A viewer had this as well. Hart, most points, 100-1 at Will Hill and DraftKings. Unbelievable. And 5-0 on the road in the playoffs now, the Knicks. Get it done. Road teams 9-3 in the second round straight up. NBA and the NHL. Thunder, most points in the first half of a playoff game.
They almost had more than the Knicks and the Celtics did for the whole game.
Yeah. They did with the Timberwolves, yeah. Tied for most points in a half in playoff history. So they put 149 up on Denver. Bellinger home run 5-1. Witt home run 4-1. Leafs plus 135. Stars even money. Rantanen hat trick 80-1. 2 goals 14-1. First player with 2 natural hat tricks in 2 playoff games as well. Dallas now 1-8 last 9 game ones. The opponent's team total is 7-1 to the over now against the Winnipeg Jets. Right back on it tomorrow. And the new Pope cashed 65-1. His odds at some spots.
Yeah, I saw 66-1. Yeah. Rank outsider. Well, for first North American Pope. I mean, there's a lot of things that are very interesting. I thought that either the Italian or the Filipino were the favorites. Very interesting, but they got it done in 4 votes. Rush to judgment.
Yeah, it could be.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
Well, they didn't want. After 4 votes, what happens? Uh-huh. Each Cardinal gets the ball at the 25-yard line, alternating possessions.
Subscribe, be part of the team. VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friend. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Apparently, this little guy does it every day. He gets into the toilet paper, and they got to roll it back up, and he just tears. He goes in the bathroom, and he gets to the toilet paper every single day, and he has at it in the bathroom, and that's his move. That's his little exercise, and that's his toy. We had the Bulldog with the Bulls the other day, and this is what the little guy does with the toilet paper. Lose some, Cubbies 125 up to 160. No good there. Bad for the books. I pointed out ESPN bet 365. If you bet NBA money lines, the team goes up 20, they pay out. Here you got, okay, pay the Celtics, pay the Cavs. Oh, they come back. You can pay out both sides there. And bad beats. We were on the air when this happened. Dodgers, Marlins under 10. No score in the 6th. No score in the 6th. Unbelievable. And the Dodgers erupt. Royals run line. They won but allowed a run in the 9th to win 2-1. And Jets, Stars under 5.5. 3-2 in the second period. Scoreless third period. Dallas wins 3-2. Millions of baseball fans love Pete Rose. And if you're one of them, listen up. Pete Rose passed away last September. And President Trump says he's considering a pardon for Pete's tax evasion conviction from the 90s. The last person to interview Pete in studio, just 10 days before his passing, is asking President Trump to officially pardon him by May 14th, when the Reds will host Pete Rose Night at the Great American Ballpark. If you believe Pete deserves this honor, go to pardonpete.com and sign the petition. While you're there, you can enter to win a baseball autograph by Pete himself. Pardonpete.com. Thanks everyone who tweeted as well. The answer, the Cubs. 1984. Cubs led the Padres 2-0. 1 win away from going to the World Series. I think game 1 was 16-1, something like that.
Maybe 14-2 or something.
Bad, yeah.
We didn't have school those days. Remember, Wrigley didn't have lights yet. They were day games.
Good call. Yep. Cubs had the better record, didn't have home field. Still bothers Bill Murray. Yeah. And right between the Bull Durham's legs, Cubs spit it up. San Diego wins 3 in a row. Padres lost to Detroit in the World Series. And your dad had to go for a walk and Had to be by himself for about 3 days.
When the ball went through Durham, remember it was all those seeing eye singles in the sixth inning. The ball goes through Durham's legs. He left. He got in his car and he drove away. Turned back up Wednesday afternoon. Yeah. His work was calling Monday, Tuesday. Where's Ron? A little worried. We were a little worried. But, I mean, the whole series was a crazy thing. The umpires were on strike, and they settled it before Game 5. I talked to Rick Sutcliffe at length during the Ball or Dream event last year about, my father went to his grave never forgiving Jim Fry for not starting Sutcliffe in Game 4 in San Diego. Said if he lost, you could come back with Trout. Trout won Game 2 like 4-1.
Okay.
So Sutcliffe's talking about it's the seventh inning. We're up 1-0, whatever the score was, 14-2, 16-1. Sutcliffe himself hit a home run in that game. He says, and here comes Fry out to the mound to take him out. He says, Jim, what are you doing? He says, you're starting Game 4, right? So now they're in San Diego. They lose to Ed Whitson in Game 3. Now here comes Game 4. Sutcliffe thinks he's going to pitch. It's that morning in the hotel, and his phone rings. He says, nobody calls me on the day I pitch. My wife picks it up, says, it's Jim Fry. Right? He gets on the phone. He says, what is it? I'm pitching tonight. He says, no, you're not. I'm starting Sanderson. He says, what are you talking about? He says, you know what your record is against the Tigers? Because the Tigers had just beat the Royals to go to the World Series.
God.
He says, it's pretty good. He says, yeah, it's 9-1. So we're saving you for Game 1 on Tuesday. Of course, they lose.
I can't believe a manager
and then up
thought
3
like
to.
that.
Oh, he said there was going to be an insurrection. He said Moreland and Sarge were going to kill Fry for not starting me. There's so many things that happened in that crazy 1984 NLCS.
The best story you can't probably tell on air.
No, I can't.
What happened with the umpire?
Yeah, I can't.
1984.
Yeah,
all right.
50 tickets.
So I know you're fired up for this one. Wednesday, Minnesota head coach Chris Finch was asked, why did Golden State do so well in the rebounding with the significant size advantage? He said, well, they foul, shove, hold, push, and tackle down low. They sent multiple clips into the league office abusing Gobert, what they felt. He also said, we'll try to take justice into our own hands whenever we can. I think that's the nature of a physical sport. By the same token, you should see some of these clips. They look like pulling guards and linemen out there taking shots at Rudy. Something could happen tonight. Could be Draymond, could be Rudy. Minnesota, again, huge favorites. Still $2 to win the series. Curry out a week. Curry talked today, spoke to the media, so it doesn't look good. They do have that benefit of the 4 games off between Game 5 and Game 6, but what do you think, my friend? That's some interesting stuff from Finch and saying, hey, league, take a look at this. This is outrageous what they're doing.
I want to tell you right now, Chris Finch is the best listened to in the whole NBA, maybe in all of sports. In his radio interviews, he is absolutely terrific, and I followed him all along during the Lakers series. And I followed him, Paul, heading into this series. And I want to tell you this. So before we even start talking about it, he talked about how difficult the matchup would be with Golden State because Kerr plays so many different rotations that they're really hard to prepare for. But he thought it was good because they were once again a brand name team that his team would get up for. He said the biggest motivating factor in the first round was when everybody at ESPN picked the Lakers.
Yep.
And Ant-Man came out and said it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lakers in 5, Lakers in 5, Lakers in 5 is what was T-Wolves in 5. Now, post-game, I think he had some very interesting comments as well. He called their transition defense diabolical.
He did.
Right? He said they baited us into a running game and we took the bait. He was not happy with the Ant-Man and the lack of energy, right? He said the lights went out at times there. And then they asked him, what are you going to say to the Ant-Man to get him up for Game 2? He said, I don't have to say anything to him. He's the team leader. This is what he wanted. He's 23 years old. He wanted this team. We shipped off town, so this could be his team, right? I don't need to say anything to this guy. But I don't know that Chris Finch has the force of personality to get the Ant-Man under. I mean, it almost might take a Phil Jackson-like guy to come in there and do that. I don't know. I really don't know. In my mind, without Curry, I don't know how the Warriors are. I mean, I think this game could just be an absolute trouncing tonight.
It could, and that's why you got to get involved in play,
right?
Because Kerr has shown time and time again he'll pull people. He'll take the 30-point loss.
They take the whole team out.
That's right.
I said this about Winnipeg when they got down 4-1, and remember when Dallas scored 3 goals St. Louis scored 3 goals in a minute.
Yeah.
In Game 6, I said pull a Kerr, take everybody out, pull everybody. Right? Because that's what he does. He just set everybody once the game's out of hand. I think that's a very interesting betting angle tonight. But everything that comes out of Finch's mouth is not only interesting, it also comes into play, and it's a big tell to what's going to happen in the next games. He called it they weren't going to win Game 2. He came out and said it. It's impossible to match a desperate team in a game 2 at home. Well, now you are the desperate team.
Yeah.
Right? So
also, you're right. Everyone picked against them, and now they're expected to win, and they come out flat, and it reminded me of Boston. I mean, the last 2 games, Minnesota's been atrocious from 3. Attack, attack, attack. If you think it's a blowout, number one, can Buddy Hield do it again? He's 20-1 most points. He's cashed 70 and 80 the last 2 games. And then you're looking at Naz Reid 30-1, DiVincenzo 35. I don't mind McDaniels 35-1, Kuminga's 40, Moody 75-1. He missed by 1 in that route in Houston.
You know, McDaniels a very key player on their team.
Yeah.
I think he's the X factor with this team.
Yep. So you throw out Ant and Butler, who's going to go off? Minnesota could win by 20 points, 25. It could be. Maybe it opens the door for another big ticket, like we've seen these continue to cash as well. So I don't mind McDaniels 35-1, and maybe come back with Buddy at 21 to get it. Does Rudy have that? Rudy's 100-1. He almost did it against the Lakers, right? You never know. Up next, the Meat Man delivers. EPL plays, playoff plays as well, and Mike Palm called it one of the top 5 soccer matches he's ever seen. We'll talk to Steve Wiss up next on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.